Good evening and welcome to this most inspiring episode of What's Your Story Tonight. You're watching KTN Home. Thank you so much for tuning in. Taping from the Gem Suites. Thank you again to the management for allowing us to do that. Now, last week, we had the CEO of Safaricom PLC, Mr. Peter Ndegwa, and we promised that we will be back because, hey, we didn't finish the conversation. So he's here with us again tonight. You're most welcome, sir.
Thank you. Nice to be back.
Oh. Yeah, I'm so happy you're here. Yes. So where do we begin? Let's see. So you've given us the tips for those who are running businesses at CEO level, leadership level, even your own business. And you've also just shared the passion, the vision that Safaricom has. A very, let's see if I remember it, customer, very strong, the strength, customer and purpose and centric. Those 4 words in your vision
Purpose,
statement.
Innovation,
Yes.
Collaboration,
Yes.
and customer centric. That's in our spirit or basically culture.
Yes.
But our vision is to be a purpose-led technology company.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Purpose-led technology company.
Yes.
So let's pack that here, and I'll come back to that. So growing up, where'd you grow up?
I grew up in county of Nyandarua, in the highlands.
Okay.
And one of the reasons why I don't feel cold is because I come from a place called Nyahururu. And people say sometimes it snows. It's probably not quite snow.
Oh, it does?
It is more, hailstorms.
I know, those mawes.
Yes, correct. But I grew up and actually went to primary school in Nyahururu, in a school called Gaidevia, which actually I'll be going back next week.
Hold on, Gaidevia?
Yes, in Maironya.
Okay.
Yes. So you know it?
No, just the name,
Yes,
Gaidevia.
yes.
God help me.
It is God help me.
Yes.
I think it was nicknamed probably late 50s when the people came in and settled there.
Yeah.
I think there was a forest all the way from Nyeri. You know, most of the people who settled in Nyandarua came either from Nyeri or Muranga or Kiambu. So because initial settlements were just few people, so I suspect it was a very lonely journey. That's why it was called. It's actually near the big forest that then gets into Nyahururu Forest, which gets all the way to the Thompson Falls. That's where the falls comes from. And so it was cold, but really kind of modest upbringing.
Okay.
But very positive in the 70s, growing up in the 70s.
Yeah.
Yes.
What born are you? How many siblings?
So large family.
Okay.
Second born of 9 children.
Oh, wow. Wow.
So 9, so large family.
Yes.
And in fact, I asked my mom, how did you cope? Which compared with my one child. Although my wife actually comes from a small family. She was the only child. So it is a contrast, which is interesting.
Nice.
And but the thing about being a second born is, and especially those days, and in a modest family, in a rural environment, just like any child, you almost become a parent early. So you start helping at home. You are used to being more responsible, and all that. You see all your siblings growing up. Eventually, you start also, when you start working, supporting some of the last borns there to go through schools and all that.
Yeah.
Because my parents didn't kind of advance too far in school, and so they saw, just like most people during that generation, so how can we achieve, or how can our children achieve what we didn't?
Oh, wow.
Because they grew up during the colonial era.
Yes.
And as you know, very restricted. My father told us stories about he was very bright and so on, but somehow his exams kind of vanished. The results vanished. So basically, it was a very good foundation, and also teachers, parents just want you to be successful. No agenda, very positive, but also values were important. A sense of integrity, hard work, dedication. But I think there's one thing that was very clear from Ali, which is very little safety net. So we saw education as access to opportunity.
Okay.
Not necessarily success or
Yeah,
anything, but
yeah.
just opportunity.
Yeah.
If you are educated, and those days you could access any school
Yeah.
in the country,
Yeah.
depending on your grades.
Yeah.
So if you worked hard, there was always, you know, a payoff.
Yes.
And times have changed because, you know, it depends on family you are from and so on and so forth. And there's nothing wrong about either coming from modest or privileged background. It's just how you use those backgrounds
Yeah.
and what you learn from them. And for me, that's the way that I look at it. Even when I talk to my son and say, look, it's not good or bad.
Yeah.
It is
Perspective.
It is perspective. But I enjoyed my childhood, despite the fact that we didn't have a lot. You know, kind of walked to school
Yeah.
and did all the things that young rural kids would do. Eventually, until now, I went to Starehe for high school. One of my passion, even as we go through our supporting community in foundations, is education, because I benefited massively from it. I'm here because of the early schooling,
Yeah.
the benevolence of teachers,
Yeah.
the generosity of parents, and therefore, and the encouragement to continue doing well without almost wanting anything.
Yes.
Teachers was, you know, the school had done well, and I
Yeah.
did well. So therefore, just happy.
Yeah.
They're not asking you. And we didn't get all these extra lessons and all that stuff, you know. It was just your normal, you know, school program and so on and so forth.
Yes.
So the SAT was a lot more pure in my view,
Yes.
and equalized education, equalized all of us. So when we went to Starehe, and Starehe, of course, as you know, it was started by
Yes,
the late
Dr.
Griffin,
yes.
and it was, you know, you asked me how I felt when I landed in Safaricom. I still remember the first day I got into Starehe. It was almost this world of opportunity, of you know, how opportunity for you to develop the best you could be.
Yeah.
Because the vision of the people who started Starehe was, we want to create a school that builds leaders of the future, but broadens someone so that they understand society in a way that you also give back. I remember us going to voluntary service. I went to one of the hospitals in my county during one of the school holidays, because it was part of what you had to do when as part of your schooling at Starehe. But the whole education thing has had a big impact on
In
me,
your
and
life.
continues to be.
Yeah, because we never quite get there, do we? Like
No.
there's always something extra, you know, we can learn, something extra we can give. And so let me just go there because you've taken me there.
Yeah.
You're grounding, you're centering, the things that keep you humble and centered and anchored in what's important in life. What are they?
So I learned very early the importance of family, because I grew up in a large one. It was a sense of fulfillment and actually care.
Yeah.
And then secondly, integrity, doing the right thing, you know, always be a person of honor.
Yeah.
So what you say, you do what you say. And I noticed when you were young that teachers did not want anything from you other than just benevolence for you to be successful.
Yes.
So the sense of giving, yeah. So but then you have to back it up with hard work, determination, resilience. You know, because there was lots of issues when you were growing up. When you're growing up in a rural or whatever, first of all you need to deal with the cold, and you need to walk to school. The visibility is not very much.
Yeah.
And but you have to navigate through that. Then have to support your family in terms of the kind of normal work
Yes.
that you do.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you also have to study and be successful and so on and so forth. So We were taught to challenge authority, by the way. You know, Starehe, people think, oh, we were very obedient and actually kind of couldn't do wrong.
Yeah.
We were taught that if you do not challenge the system,
Yeah.
then you cannot improve it. And also you'll fear authority. So you have to be gracious in the way you do it, but you have to challenge. Therefore, keep pushing.
Right.
And when you are not satisfied,
Yeah.
you say you're not satisfied.
Yeah.
And that's the way you then discover new ways of dealing with it.
Yeah.
But it still goes back to who you are as an individual, not
Yes.
always not forgetting. That's why I've remained largely humble.
Yes.
And I don't let success get into my head or get in the way of me learning more or saying, you know, I've achieved the world. I actually like sports a lot, and I use sports as a way of creating inspiration. You know, the best sports people
Yeah.
are the hardest working. They work hardest. They put the most hours. They don't say, oh yeah, now I've achieved the Messis of this world, the Tiger Woods and all that. They put so much time.
Yeah.
If you look at their regime, I once went to visit Kipchoge in Kaptagat, where he trains with people like Faith Kipyegon.
Okay.
Actually, we ran 5 kilometers with them. Of course, we pleaded with them that they should walk, and we ran so that they don't stress us. But one thing I learned from him, the camp is very humble. They live very humble lives, and they push themselves every single day. And that's the reason why they achieve that success. Sometimes we think it's God-given gift. Yes, you have to have a gift. But if you don't nurture that gift, and if you don't keep being rooted in nurturing that gift, you see Faith, when she, we welcomed her to Safaricom to congratulate her for breaking the 2 world records, 15 and 5,000. And she was saying, oh yeah, I couldn't believe it, you know, those things. That's a sense of humility.
Yeah.
Rather than, oh yeah, what else did you
What
expect type. So that is, and also one of the other things I've learned is life is a long race. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. So there will be ups and downs. But actually, in the context of life, 1 year, 2 years, or a disappointment here and there doesn't make a big difference. As long as you have your sights on something you want to do, that you have the resilience to hang on, and because and you also remain positive, and also feel I shape who I want to be.
Yeah, I hear you. So integrity, family, doing good to others, of course, and you keep repeating, I keep hearing it, perspective, just how you look at things.
Yeah.
So when we read, or the name Peter Ndegwa, or we watch you on television, or even just just the successes you've had at Safaricom, of course it's a big name, and it comes with a heavy responsibility.
Yeah.
And on the other side of that is, so we see this big name, we see this name under the lights. That's what we see outside. But what's on the other side of the coin? What is it that we don't see?
You know, I say titles are labels. Yeah. So I used to have a title, Managing Director, Guinness Nigeria, Managing Director, Europe, Diageo, Continental Europe, but now Safaricom CEO. But at the end of the day, your name belongs to you. So it is always remaining the same, regardless of the role that you have. Just changing perspective about how you create success.
Right.
So I've never changed. So people say, this guy is the same one, the way he relates to people, the way he respects. So I'll always respect, if I go into a meeting, I'll always be respectful of people's time. I'll always be the first on time. So people have known that in Safaricom. So if I came late, I'll always apologize. So it is saying, I'm true to myself in terms of confidence about the person I am. I had a great education. Went through university, went to Safaricom, to PwC, very good training, spent 16 years in Diageo, different markets. So I am not worried about those, what I've been able to achieve. But at the end of the day, it's about who Peter Ndegwa is, value driven, always having a sense of possibility and purpose. I will challenge you to have a sense of challenge status quo. If people say, oh, don't you think that is enough? It's not. So I'm quite intense. People don't realize that. And I am, if you think of the spectrum, when you do different psychological makeups, and Diageo is very good in helping you understand yourself.
Okay.
So between extrovert, introvert. So I'm more introverted than more kind of think and then say what I want. Well, extroverted people who think as who talk as they are thinking, kind of thing. So the quietness for the most underestimated leaders are introverted because you think, oh, this person might not know. Probably they have already figured you out. That's the issue,
Yeah.
And but also be comfortable with that person you are. So you've done all those Myers-Briggs.
You've done
and all
that.
those.
I was going to ask that. What are you?
And Fibro-B. So it is INTJ, which is introverted, kind of intuition.
Introverted.
Intuition.
Intuition.
Thinking.
Thinking and judgment.
And
J.
and TP,
Oh, yours is TP?
Yeah, TP.
Ah, okay.
Yeah,
Mine
perceiving.
is INFJ.
Yes. Yeah, so feeling and yeah, so you're much more organized. And so I say, yes, I'm organized, but more mentally than that. So that I don't get bogged down when things are not in order. But I still have lots of structure in my system, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But actually part of what I have benefited from is understanding self. Because then you are able to also declare who you are. So that the way I lead, if I'm leading an extroverted person, and or interviewing an extroverted person, they will be saying, oh, this guy is not saying as much. But actually it's also declaring it. So knowing how to deal with that. But the most important thing is being confident about the type of person you are, and how the strengths you have to deliver what it is you do. Because functionally, I've been trained in many areas. So I was a strategy director, sales, finance, CFO type. Then I've been a general manager, CEO for a long time. So you're not worried about functional craft.
No.
Or even the interaction between all those functional crafts, because people say, your career has been, you didn't go through one function. No, I didn't.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing about trying new things, adapting, and so on. But at the end of the day, I think it's always remembering yourself and not being carried away with, oh, I want to be like this other person. Yes, seek counsel, seek mentorship, seek advice. I benefited massively from leadership development and coaching. But it's still building on work from strength, your own strength, and then development areas, how you interact with others, how you get the best out of others, how you see, how you remain in charge, not in charge in the context of authority, but in terms of even in crisis, how do you remain in control and hold your nerve? Those things, because like as a CEO, you have to learn that. Because but then when I interview people, I say, what are those moments in your life that has influenced you most? Because those shape, in child psychology, those things shape the person you are. Some of the people who try and be too competitive, probably they have something they hide, or they have something they are afraid of. and therefore they hide it in the context of.
Yeah.
So, but it's just understanding some of the things that have shaped you, like my upbringing. I said, modest but very positive.
Yes.
Family, but also a society that's benevolent. And a school, middle school to high school that was very inspiring.
Yes.
Starehe was, you know, you couldn't go to, I mean, I know that the Alliance guys would like it, but you couldn't go to a better school, especially during Dr. Griffin days.
Yes.
And then those things set you up. But at the end of the day, those are only ingredients. It's what you do with them. Because I say to people when I talk to young graduates who are joining us, I say to them, when you complete campus and you're going into employment, 15, 20 years later, the things that will determine who is the most successful and who has gone the farthest is not the grade you got, it's not the content you studied and the degree. It is how much passion you have and how resilient you are in overcoming barriers, overcoming obstacles, of continuing to take risk.
Yeah.
Because you have to put yourself, you know, I say, you know, I've been lucky, yeah, but you have to be in the moment to be lucky. There will always be passion points that people have that you can direct your energy on. So even with kids, especially nowadays, especially boy child, you have to direct their energies into areas they can really channel what they want to be.
Yeah.
And if you don't do that, that's why they drift into things that are unpalatable.
Yeah.
So I have a young son who I'm bringing up, so I have to be conscious of that, and also be conscious that we are not always as available.
Wow. Yes.
And I'm sure you'll ask me about my family. So married to someone who has just become a doctor, as in not a doctor as in medical, but a doctorate. It's graduated last week. Awesome. So now we have a doctor in the house. So I have to pay respects. to pay my respects. I'm not sure I've reached that far, but it's a passion point she has had for herself, and also because we traveled around, it was an opportunity for her to do that kind of thing, online and in a flexible way, and still bring up a family.
Yes.
And so it's the way.
How are you able to be fully present as Safaricom CEO and fully present as Mr. Ndegwa the husband and Mr. Ndegwa the father?
Yeah, that actually is a dilemma.
Okay.
Yeah, because We are busy people. We are busy people.
Yeah.
In a way, as a person, I focus on what is in front of me, even if there's so much complexity I have to manage and future. I remember when we were in Starehe, Dr. Griffin used to tell us, you put curtains. You put curtains in the things, because he used to run NYS in the morning and come and run Starehe in the afternoon.
Okay.
And he used to tell us, when I'm in NYS, I'm not in Starehe, so I don't think about Starehe.
Okay.
So in a way, I have actually cultivated, and it's not necessarily just because of Dr. Griffin, but just because I have had to do it in the many roles that I've played. So I'm actually able to be in the meeting. My phone tends to be in silent, so I avoid distractions.
Yes.
So in a way, when I'm at work, I do focus on work. When I'm at home, I wind down. Saturdays, I don't do anything.
Okay.
I don't do anything work related. I have done that for the last 20 years.
Right.
So even my teams always know, you get in touch with this guy, he's not going to be available unless there's a form of function or an interaction that or something that I can't avoid, a crisis or whatever. So I'll go to the barber shop. I'll probably go and play golf once in a while if I have time, or I'll just have me time.
Okay.
Yeah.
What does your me time look like?
Watching sports.
Oh, okay.
Yes, playing sports. No, mostly watching sports, because when I'm playing, it's also me time. But watching, football, Arsenal.
You're an Arsenal
yes,
supporter?
Arsenal supporter. Playing golf once in a while. People think I play a lot of golf, but I don't. I actually started playing golf more because my son was playing. So then, especially Sunday afternoon, we could go and play a 9-hole. So it's also a bonding time, which was also so I actually increased frequency because of that. But and then travel, yeah. Luckily, because I did 2 secondments. I did 1 secondment at PwC for 6 years in my early career, in my mid-20s to early 30s, in my mid-20s. And then I also now the 9 years with the Diageo. So we got a chance to travel a lot. So love travel.
Yes.
Been to many countries.
Yes.
Yes, more than I can count.
Yeah.
So travel is another one. But you always, and then I also keep fit.
Okay.
So run. When I was in West Africa, I got very good in taekwondo.
Oh.
So you can learn things even at I was in my 40s, so I learned taekwondo to a good standard.
So you're good, eh?
Good. Please don't test.
If you're in danger, we are fine. We are safe.
No, you're actually safe. I was taught that when you learn martial arts, it's not to attack or even defend.
Okay.
It's a discipline. And only in an extreme case should you use it for defense.
Oh.
Not for attack. So even children, when they teach kids, like because my son went through some of that, they teach them you should never attack anyone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
You shouldn't.
Wow.
Because you have skills that people probably are not aware. And then therefore it should build confidence to you that you shouldn't attack people. Rather than now, I can box, so let me box. let me box.
Let them look for me.
Yeah, yeah. So in terms of the balance, I was actually in a way lucky because of the travel. So we lived in West Africa and Europe. Because you don't have funerals or weddings over the weekend, you're actually closer to your family. When you are abroad, you're actually closer to your family.
It's true.
So you are together.
Yeah.
You travel.
Yeah.
And like in Europe, you're just by yourself. You don't have house helps and all these people and so on. So I actually got quite close. But as I now has come back into this country, there's much more distraction. So just being much more conscious, and it's not easy. Being much more conscious about being present, having family time, ring fencing time for both my wife and also my son. Yes. And but it's not perfect. No. It's not anyone who thinks there is anything perfect with the kind of life we have. Yeah. Joking. Yeah. It is recognizing and being deliberate.
deliberate.
Yeah, but also taking time. Like for example, one of the reasons why we go abroad is so that you can be away.
Yes.
Otherwise, people will still bring files to sign and papers.
Yeah, yeah.
And invite you to functions, and also being disciplined. Like on my personal, because one of the things I've learned about being a senior leader is managing self. Because if you can't manage self, you can't manage others. So if you don't keep fit and if you don't look after your emotional and mental balance, and you are on this side of the cliff, not this other side, sleep. I'm not a great sleeper, but I have now able to have very structured pattern. I even have a Fitbit and all that stuff.
Okay.
So understanding the areas of managing self that allows you to maintain personal balance, so that you can manage family, you can manage organization, you can manage society.
Yeah.
Because when you see people walking around, there's a lot of mental health.
Yeah.
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 And it comes from burnout, lack of sleep, lack of physical well-being.
Yeah.
Like now I have booked times when I go and run in my diary.
Wow.
And then my assistant takes it out and we fight.
Yeah.
And we fought a few times, then she told me, I won't do it anymore. so actually, literally, on Monday afternoon, I go and run. Okay. On Friday afternoon, I go and run.
Wonderful.
As in late afternoon.
Yes.
But even when there is specific meetings that I can't avoid, I'll just substitute with another day. But by doing that, I create a pattern and rhythm. So therefore, that allows me to be a lot more
intentional and present.
Yeah, even when I travel, I'll always carry some gym clothes, even if I won't use it.
Yeah.
because it allows me to at least have the option.
Yes.
And it's very easy to add weight on a 1 week trip. You have more weight, more food, less sleep. By the time you are coming back, the work hasn't gone away.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, it's still there.
Yeah.
So mentally, you need to remain sharp. But I think it is more understanding, and I learned it especially as part of the leadership training.
Yeah.
That aspects about self-management from a leadership perspective are more critical if you are going to bring the best out of others.
Yeah.
And family life is an important part of ring fencing that time. So we can generally have, like I told you, when we were away, it was easier.
Yes.
When we are here, probably half was COVID, so it was also easy. I got actually to stay at home and have a home office. Yeah. So I'll always somewhat try and work. If actually this home working is not bad. Okay. I know that we experience a lot of issues with employees. We even started having family issues showing up because people were too intensely at home, kind of thing. Yeah. But I think what I learned from Europe is actually in the current modern world, being at home and work and blending the two. It's not having one or the other. It's the balance you choose. And actually, if you're not happy at work, you won't be happy at home. It's true. So people think, I need enough time at home so that I'm happy. No, it is that you need to be fulfilled and you need to blend the two. Like if you think about a CEO life, you can't have one versus the other. No. It is both combined. So involving your family as part of your work is also important, because otherwise you're not going to be able to cut through and deal with some of the issues. But it's not. So it's not easy. It's not easy. So it's an everyday, a day effort at a time, and effort and being intentional. I hear you. The dark seasons. Yes. How do you navigate through that? Because there'll be challenges at work. There'll be challenges at home. Yes. There'll be challenges maybe at your son's school. Yes. There'll be something somewhere that's just a challenge. What I like to just collectively call navigating dark seasons. Yeah, we call it dark. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So how do you wade through?
First is to acknowledge they will be there.
Ah.
Yeah. So it is also, how do you respond to dilemmas? And how do you deal with I'll give you a very good example.
Yeah, sure.
I know that my wife wouldn't like it, but I'll give it to you. So last week when we went to Liverpool, so I went for a graduation, she lost her luggage and her gown was in that luggage.
Oh.
But she handled it in a very nice way. She said it wouldn't spoil her celebration because she was graduating as a doctorate.
PhD.
And eventually she was able to get a spare gown and so on and so forth. She could also have decided to take it on the airline and get depressed and all that stuff. So in a way, part of it is knowing that these things will come.
Right.
So first of all, being calm and saying what are the options that I have, what do I need to do, and also like I told you when I went through this agile journey,
Yes.
there was a lot of pushback from the organization.
Right.
You know, from external, social media, who is this guy, who does he think he is, type thing. And I ignored it. I ignored that. I didn't ignore the messaging,
Yeah.
but I didn't read it.
Right.
So I just said, so what are the things that are real that they are raising? Like the way we manage change, the way we carry people along.
Yeah.
Those things are important. So you can't ignore feedback.
Yeah.
But you can't get bogged down in the noise. So you focus on what the outcome is, and then you manage the stakeholders that allow you to manage the narrative. So that's one. On all those, if you think about the dark elements, as you call them,
Yeah.
is saying what's the priority? Because sometimes the family will be the priority.
Yeah.
And saying to the guys,
Yeah.
the job, I mean, the Safaricom will go on.
Yeah.
I need to deal with this. Yeah. So ensuring that my son was going through the other day through the whole rites of passage.
Okay.
Same time my wife is doing
Graduating.
all this.
Yeah.
So I prioritized it. And it's the organization will always be okay. There will be nothing that will happen. You can leave someone acting.
Yeah.
There will be absolutely nothing that will happen. If you have a strong team, nothing will happen. But it's always realizing that there is nothing ever that is big enough not to have options for solving. Yeah. I think the most problematic ones tends to be personal and home ones.
Yes.
And that those ones for me, what I've learned is you have to give them time. I think you secure time and kind of say, I'll solve it.
Yeah.
Because then if you're absent,
Yeah.
then it gets worse.
Yeah.
But there are moments when you'll have huge conflicts. This week I have boards and AGM, and there may be other things that are conflicting. This is why the family has to understand what trade-offs you are making, and actually have, like, my wife is understanding. You know, she's seen me going through ups and downs.
Yeah.
So many times you have to build a relationship with your partner that allows you to be able to manage all these crises. Because especially work, if you don't have support. This is why I said you settle the family first.
Yeah.
Like my son had had said, oh, I don't like this school. I like the one in Netherlands. I actually like Diageo instead of Safaricom. Could you decline the job type?
Oh, wow.
No, I said, no, there are some jobs you don't decline. So the thing, but you have to understand they are transitioning.
Yeah.
If you don't understand that, then you kind of, you are kidding yourself. So it is, for me, I've always had a very, you have to filter things from what outcome do I want.
Yeah.
Whether that's a family situation, a work situation, or managing conflict. And many times, you know, us in these positions, many times you don't get the balance.
Yeah.
The balance that it also has actually having to understand that.
Yeah.
That there's also a price you pay for being busy.
Wow. Okay.
Yes.
I hear you.
Yes.
So you know, like I have so much to ask,
Yes.
yet you have this much time,
Yes.
which I totally understand. So you have to promise to come back again when we look
Yeah,
for
no,
you.
I will.
Please say it out loud.
Yes, I will, Catherine. I will come back.
But I still have to ask
Yeah.
one last question.
Yes, go ahead.
Which I feel is so important, because at your position, you find you're surrounded by so many people. And so how do you differentiate between the genuine, authentic ones and the sycophants?
Yeah. That is one thing you can't avoid.
Yeah.
It happens in politics. You see the way people talk to politicians depending on their positions.
Yeah.
Happen in corporate life, depending on their positions.
Yeah.
And sirs and people call you sir and all that. First of all, I tell people don't call me sir. Because I actually grew up in Pricewaterhouse where we were being, regardless of position,
Yeah.
it was first name.
Right?
So you kind of grow up in that. So the thing is, that's why I said about recruiting
Yeah.
people who are competent and rooted in their own craft and
Yeah.
function.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that at least you know when you are talking to that person, they will tell you what is going on.
Yeah.
And then now having high standards of performance, an expectation that says this is what I want. So you can tell me all the stories, but if this is not being hit, numbers don't lie type. And it's not just numbers. It's also watching for authenticity
Yeah.
and so on. But I see it every day. I see it in the room. You also have to, as a leader, have to have enough,
Discernment?
yes, to actually say, I won't do anything about it.
Yeah.
I can see it, I know it, it won't interfere with how I'm thinking. I won't, sometimes I'll acknowledge humor. I know people are telling me what I want to hear type. But you just have to be conscious
Yeah.
that people will filter what they are telling you. You are told less, so you have to also get different channels of getting the real information. That's why even surveys are very important, like all these people surveys.
Yeah.
So you'll know whether people are
Yeah.
well. Doing skip level meetings, going to trade, which is the shops. Shops don't lie, by the way. So
Okay.
the customer experience you
Yes.
can't change. Even if people brought in customers, you will see how they are served.
Yeah.
So there won't be ways of hiding that.
No.
So you have to, and I actually have asked many leaders that question. They tell me the biggest issue is they feel the most frustrated about the filtering. And people telling you what to hear. But there are some people also who want to be kind of told those things.
Yeah, the
Yes,
people who live for that.
Yes, they live
Yeah,
for that.
yeah.
So certainly people know that I'm not that one of those. But declaring is important.
Yes.
Declaring that the importance of being told the truth.
Yeah.
This is why we measure this thing called psychological safety. It's not great. It's not great, by the way, but we keep improving it and
Yes.
seeing areas where we need to improve. But it's being conscious of it.
Yeah.
And not being naive that people are always looking for the right things. And then the second thing is like for me, also, the set of friends that I'll have. There are those who have known me forever.
Yeah.
So I'll retain that group because I know they will always tell me the truth. There are those you've come across in your professional life.
Yeah.
And they are kind of the ones who know you because of your position.
Yeah.
So you always also have to be conscious that you
Yeah.
are dealing with different sets of individuals. And there is nothing wrong.
No.
It's just different.
Yeah.
So therefore, have just to be discerning.
Yes.
But it then goes back to you have to have the presence of emotional presence. No, forget the mind, because sometimes it's not the intellectual part; it's the emotional side being present to be able to discern that.
Yes.
Because you can't filter everything yourself.
No.
This is why you have to also rely on others
Yeah.
and seek counsel. Seeking counsel is very important. Having people will tell you, I don't think you are making the right call, or if I was in your shoes, this is what I would consider. So I've always had mentors who are outside or people who are outside the system.
Yes.
And even potentially even in the industry.
Yeah.
To tell you, to say, well, these are some of the things I'm dealing with, the dilemmas or the issues.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah.
And seeing how they interpret, it's good.
Yeah.
Because you cannot know everything. Eh?
No, you can't.
You can't.
No,
and
nobody does.
it doesn't matter. And also, it's not your job.
No.
To know everything. There's one time when I worked in Nigeria, this is probably the last story I'll tell. I worked in Nigeria. My boss, who was the president for Africa, came to Nigeria to visit. And he said that the taxi guy told him that there was a fuel crisis. So there were queues or people queuing for fuel.
Yeah.
They said, I'm not kind of aware of it. And what I meant is not top 5 of the things that I was dealing with.
Oh.
So you have also to say these are the things that I'll deal with. The others will deal kind of thing.
It's not my priority list.
Because if you did 20,
Yeah.
you will break down.
Yeah.
So you almost have to let go. There's an element of also being comfortable, not being, if you are a control freak, then you will break down. So I think the point there is you can't be in charge of everything, and you shouldn't, because you have a role to play, the functional head and so on. And even if you are the functional head, there's departments underneath you. So it's choosing those big things that you feel have to require your input.
Yes.
Doesn't mean the rest are not important. They are important, and you'll be infrequently kind of informed of, but focus on the priority, which we call mission. In our business, we call them mission critical areas.
Mission critical areas. So basically, Safaricom has very different names for different things.
Every corporate has language.
This is the first one I'm hearing.
Language, rituals,
tradition,
symbols, whatever.
Hey.
So if you went to, if I came up with acronyms, it would be too many. So that's why I've talked about just a few terms.
Just a few today.
Yeah.
No, but you know what, Peter Ndegwa, this has been so inspiring for us, for me especially personally, and maybe when we do when we do the next conversation, it will be amazing, because I'm thinking we should have an audience. So that you give an opportunity to business leaders and also young people. I have a passion for young people.
Right.
For them in the audience to also ask you questions that I may not have asked.
Yeah.
But I also have a lot more. If I show you what I had prepared, you'll just see, wow, okay, you wanted to ask all this. But this has been, those are 2 episodes with the CEO of Safaricom PLC, Peter Ndegwa. It has been very inspiring, and I'm so grateful that you made the time for us tonight.
Thank you, Catherine, and happy to be here, and happy to do the one with audience.
Yeah.
I'm also passionate about young people.
Awesome.
And also that's also sharing
Yes.
and role modeling what I've learned.
Yes.
And so it's always good to give back.
Awesome.
Yeah, great to be here.
I look forward to it. So we'll do it this year, Peter, right?
Yes.
Okay. It will be somewhere in the priority list for this year.
Yes. That I will prioritize.
Okay.
I'll prioritize.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And to you who has been with us the last 2 episodes of What's Your Story, catalyzing the story of Safaricom PLC CEO, Peter Ndegwa, thank you so much for making the time. You can find him on all social media platforms. Did you open up Facebook? Oh, you did? Oh, even Facebook, it's open. But usually I find him on Twitter and LinkedIn. But, we will do this again and hopefully get the chance to invite you. So we are thankful you made time tonight. The shows go up on YouTube in case you missed on any episode, or in case you just want to listen again and glean a bit more. We're always learning, like you heard. Just feel free. KTN Home YouTube channel has all the episodes. I'm Catherine Mwangi, gratified you made the time again to tune in tonight. Until next week, ciao, God bless.
Gem Suites Hotel and Luxury Service Departments currently boasts 2 properties within Kenya. Gem Suites State House Crescent, set in the exclusive State House neighborhood, comprises of 34 well-appointed apartments, and Gem Suites Riverside, set up in a secure, private and tranquil setting. In the upscale Riverside neighborhood with 98 luxuriously appointed full-service 1- and 2-bedroom apartments, superior hotel rooms and presidential penthouses.